The rain-slicked streets of Manhattan gleamed under the sodium lamps like shattered glass, and I froze mid-stride when I saw him. Jamie, leaning against the lamppost outside our old haunt, the Blue Note, as if he'd never left. His eyes met mine across the downpour, and in that instant, the 5 years I'd spent burying our history cracked open like thunder. He smiled, that crooked half-grin that used to unravel me, and whispered my name, Alex, as if it were a secret we still shared, even though I'd been the one who shattered it all. I wanted to run, to vanish into the crowd of umbrellas bobbing like black mushrooms, but my feet betrayed me, carrying me closer until the scent of his cologne, sandalwood and rain, hit me like a memory I couldn't outpace. What are you doing here? I managed, my voice barely audible over the patter on the awning above us. He straightened, water dripping from his dark curls, and said simply, I'm back, and I need you to hear me out. That night, as we ducked into the dim warmth of the Blue Note, the jazz trio in the corner weaving saxophone sighs through the haze of cigarette smoke. Though New York had banned it indoors years ago, the ghosts lingered. I couldn't shake the knot in my chest. Jamie slid into the booth across from me, his leather jacket shedding droplets onto the scarred wooden table, and ordered 2 whiskeys neat, just like we used to. The bartender, a grizzled vet named Lou who'd seen us through 100 late nights in college, raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. 5 years, and here we were, pretending the chasm between us was just a spilled drink. You look good, Alex, Jamie said, his voice low and steady, the kind that used to make my resolve crumble during those stolen afternoons in his dorm room. I forced a laugh, stirring the ice in my glass to avoid his gaze. Liar. I look like I haven't slept since Obama was president. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes, those blue depths that had once mapped every insecurity I hid. Fair enough, but you're still you. Stubborn, brilliant, and terrible at small talk. We'd met freshman year at NYU, thrown together in a film studies seminar where the professor droned on about Scorsese's use of shadows to reveal inner turmoil. Ironic, now that I thought about it. I was the quiet kid from suburban Ohio, majoring in screenwriting with dreams too big for my closeted heart. Jamie was the transfer from California, vibrant, unapologetically out, with a laugh that filled lecture halls and a portfolio of short films that left everyone breathless. Our first project paired us. A 10-minute vignette on unspoken desires. We filmed it in Washington Square Park, capturing stolen glances between park benches and pigeon-scattered paths. Off camera, those glances turned real. By junior year, we were inseparable, late-night edits in the editing lab, greasy slices from Joe's Pizza at 2 a.m., his hand brushing mine under the table at crowded parties where I scanned rooms for judgmental stares. I loved him fiercely, in the way only 20-year-olds can, all fire and no foresight. But love like that has teeth. My parents visited that spring, conservative pillars from Dayton who saw my phase as a footnote they'd edit out. When they cornered me in the dorm lounge, Jamie's arm still warm around my waist from the night before, I panicked. It's nothing, I lied, shoving him away like he was a prop in a bad script. Just roommates messing around. Jamie heard every word. He froze in the doorway, his face paling as if I'd slapped him. That night, he packed a bag and left for LA without a goodbye, his final text a single line. I thought we were writing our own story. I chased him to the airport, but the plane was already wheels up. The betrayal lodged in my throat like a fishbone, and for years, I choked it down with one-night stands that tasted like ash and scripts that never sold. Now here he was, back in the city that chewed up dreams and spat out survivors. I've been in LA, he said, swirling his whiskey. Directing indie stuff. Won a Spirit Award last year for that queer road trip film, Echoes on Asphalt. I nodded, feigning casualness, though I'd streamed it twice in secret, pausing on every frame where his vision bled through. Congrats. It's killer. He leaned forward, elbows on the table, and the vulnerability in his posture hit me harder than any plot twist. I'm here for a project. A feature. But it's not just that. Alex, I never stopped thinking about us. The words hung there, fragile as the jazz riff fading into applause. My pulse thrummed in my ears. Jamie, that was a lifetime ago. I was a coward. He reached across, his fingers grazing mine. Electric, familiar, and I didn't pull away. We both were. But what if this is Act 2? I'm asking you to read for the part. We talked until last call, the rain easing to a drizzle outside. He told me about LA, the glittering facades hiding hollow hearts, the hookups that felt like auditions, the therapy sessions where he unpacked my ghost. I confessed the wreckage I'd left, a string of apologies to friends who'd witnessed my denial, a coming out to my parents that ended in radio silence, a screenplay I'd shelved because every hero betrayed his heart. By the time we stepped onto the sidewalk, the city hummed with possibility, taxi horns a soundtrack to our tentative truce. "Stay in touch," he said, hailing a cab. But as the door clicked shut, I realized he hadn't given me his number. It was a test, I knew. Trust me enough to find me. Back in my cramped Brooklyn walk-up, I scrolled his IMDb page until dawn, the glow of my laptop the only light in the room. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with flashbacks. His lips on mine in the East Village, the sting of my own voice denying him. The next morning, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. Coffee? Same spot. Noon. Don't ghost me this time. Jay. I stared at it, heart slamming. This was madness, reopening a wound that had scarred over. But as I showered, the hot water rinsing away the night's haze, I felt something shift. Not forgiveness, not yet, but curiosity. What if the story wasn't over? Sarah found me at the coffee cart on campus. NYU's edges still bleeding into my routine, even post-grad, nursing a black Americano like it was an antidote to bad decisions. She's been my anchor since sophomore year, a lesbian firebrand with a pixie cut and a laugh that could disarm a debate team. We bonded over bad vegan takeout and worse exes. She dragged me out of the closet when I was still half buried. "Spill," she demanded, snatching my cup for a sip. "You look like you saw a ghost. Or worse, your ex." I hesitated, the steam from the cart curling around us like a confessional veil. Jamie's back. Her eyes widened, saucer big, and she nearly choked on the coffee. The Jamie? Blue-eyed Heartbreak Central? Holy shit, Alex. Details. Now. We wandered toward the quad, leaves crunching underfoot in that crisp October bite, and I unloaded it all. The rain-soaked reunion, the whiskey confessions, the unspoken plea hanging between us like fog over the Hudson. Sarah listened, her steps syncing with mine, but I caught the flicker of worry in her brow. "Babe, you sure about this? Last time he left, you were a mess. Remember the Alex's ode to self-sabotage phase? That screenplay you burned?" I winced. The ashes of that draft still haunted my recycle bin. "This feels different. Like redemption arc material." She stopped, grabbing my arm. "Or sequel bait. Just promise me you'll protect your heart. We've built this life without him. Your agent gigs, my graphic design hustle. Don't let nostalgia rewrite the ending." Her words stuck like burrs as I headed to my afternoon pitch meeting at a Tribeca production house. I'm no Spielberg, but I've clawed my way into assistant story editor roles, polishing scripts for shows that flirt with queer narratives but rarely commit. Today's read-through was for Urban Shadows, a drama about fractured families in the boroughs. Irony at its finest. As I marked up dialogue, my mind wandered to Jamie's film, the way he'd captured queerness not as a plot device but a pulse. By session's end, my notes were doodled with question marks, and I bolted early, texting him, "Noon tomorrow. Don't be late." He wasn't. The blue note was brighter at midday, sunlight slanting through the windows like spotlights on a set. Jamie arrived with a script under his arm, thick, bound in black, titled Fractured Frames. "My baby," he said, sliding into the booth. A story about two filmmakers who lose each other to the industry, only to collide again on the same project. Sound familiar? I traced the cover, my fingers itching to crack it open. "Meta. Who's the lead?" "You," he said without blinking. "And me directing. It's semi-autobiographical, our story, but with better lighting." My laugh came out strangled. "You're serious?" He nodded, eyes earnest. "Dead serious. But it's not just nostalgia porn. There's real stakes, prejudice from backers who want it straighter, friendships that fracture under the weight. I need your voice, Alex. Your words made me believe in stories once. Make me believe again." We spent the afternoon dissecting beats, him sketching scenes on napkins, me firing back tweaks that sharpened the emotional knives. It felt like old times, our brains sinking like well-oiled reels, but undercurrents tugged. A brush of knees under the table that lingered too long, a shared glance that dipped into dangerous territory. By dusk, the script hummed with potential, but so did the risk. What if I say no? I asked as we parted. He paused, rain starting up again. Then I walk away. For good this time. But trust me to make it worth it. That night, alone with takeout lo mein and the script, I read until my eyes burned. His words leaped off the page, raw, unflinching portraits of denial's cost, love's quiet rebellions. A scene where the protagonist denies his partner at a family dinner mirrored my own shame so closely I had to set it down, breath hitching. Sarah called then, her voice a lifeline. How'd it go? I told her everything, voice cracking on the vulnerability. He's asking for trust one don't know if I have left. She sighed. Then start small, one page at a time. But if he hurts you, I'll key his Prius. Laughter broke the tension, but sleep evaded me. Dreams wove script lines with memories. Jamie's hand in mine at a pride march we skipped out of fear, the empty space where he'd stood after my lie. Morning brought a group text from our old circle. Mike, the straight-laced finance bro who'd always ribbed us gently, now planning a reunion barbecue in Central Park. All in, it read. My thumb hovered. Including Jamie? The unknown loomed, but I typed yes, heart pounding. Bridges burned could be rebuilt. But what if the flames reignited? As the week blurred into script revisions and stolen coffees, Jamie wove back into my orbit seamlessly, like he'd never left the frame. We met at his hotel in Midtown, a sleek Airbnb with Hudson views that screamed LA transplant. Temporary digs, he shrugged, pouring us Merlots from a corner store bottle. Until the funding clears. The room overlooked the river's glittering snake, ferries cutting wakes like plot points unresolved. We pored over revisions, my red pen slashing cliches, his laughter punctuating the silences. But cracks showed. Midway through a heated debate on the third act, should the betrayal resolve in forgiveness or fracture, his phone buzzed. He glanced, face tightening, and silenced it. X. I ventured, regretting it instantly. He set down his glass, jaw set. Therapist. Boundaries, right? The word hung, a mirror to my own failures. About that night, I started, but he waved it off. Water under the bridge. Or rain on the street. Let's focus. We did, until exhaustion hit, and he crashed on the couch while I took the bed, polite distance masking the pull. In the witching hour, I heard him murmur in sleep, my name tangled with sorry. Guilt twisted like a knife. I'd been the architect of our ruin. Dawn filtered in, and over bagels from the lobby, he pitched the next step. Introducing me to his producer, Elena, a no-nonsense dyke from Silver Lake who'd greenlit his award winner. She'll love your edge, he said. But fair warning, she's got zero patience for bullshit. The meeting was set for Friday, a rooftop spot in Soho with skyline views that made my vertigo flare. Sarah prepped me over FaceTime, her face pixelated but fierce. Channel that inner showrunner. And text me after, live updates. Mike chimed in via text, heard Jamie's town. Barbecue's gonna be lit or literally explosive. I laughed it off, but unease gnawed. Old friends meant old dynamics. Mike's casual homophobia masked as jokes, the group's unspoken judgment of my past silence. Friday arrived with blue skies mocking my nerves. Jamie met me at the elevator, crisp in chinos and a button-down that hugged his frame just right. Ready? His hand on my lower back steadied me, a touch both casual and charged. Elena was a force, 50s, silver-streaked hair, voice like gravel wrapped in velvet. So, you're the ghostwriter who haunts his scripts, she said, shaking my hand firm. We dove in, pitching the arc, two men rebuilding amid industry biases, friendships straining under secrets. She leaned back, cigarillo smoldering. Indoor smoking be damned. It's got teeth. But make the prejudice real, not cartoon villains. I've seen too many queer stories sanitized for straights. Jamie nodded, but I caught his glance my way, laced with something unspoken. As we wrapped, Elena pulled me aside. He's fragile under that shine. Don't break him again. Her words landed like a gut punch. She knew. Walking out, Jamie slung an arm around my shoulders. Nailed it. But the weight of her warning lingered. That night, at the barbecue, the park thrummed with laughter and grill smoke. Mike clapped Jamie on the back too hard, beer in hand. The prodigal son returns. LA turn you into a vegan. Jamie grinned, but I saw the flinch. Sarah arrived with her girlfriend, Lila, soft-spoken artist type, and pulled me into a hug. Surviving. The group coalesced around blankets, stories flowing like wine. But tension simmered. Mike's joke about Hollywood pansies, Jamie's tight smile, my urge to call him out warring with old habits. As dusk fell, Jamie and I slipped away to a quieter bench, the city lights winking like conspirators. This, us, them, it's a lot, he admitted. I nodded, our knees touching. Yeah, but worth it. He turned, eyes searching. Ask me in the morning. The fallout from the barbecue hit, like a plot twist I should have seen coming. Mike's offhand comment. You guys always were the dramatic duo, huh? Like that movie where the gays fix everything with a hug. Landed with a thud amid the group's chuckles. But Jamie's face shuddered, and he excused himself early, cab vanishing into the night. I texted him, sorry. Old habits. No reply until 3 a.m. Not your mess to clean. Talk tomorrow. Morning brought a pounding headache, and Sarah at my door, armed with croissants and coffee. What the hell happened? Mike's blowing up the group chat. All lighten up, it's a joke. She paced my living room, the space cluttered with script drafts and half-read novels. That man's prejudice is like bad cologne. Lingers no matter how you air it out. I sank onto the couch, rubbing temples. Jamie's raw. My fault, digging up ghosts. We hashed it out over flaky pastry, her advice sharp as ever. Confront Mike. And Jamie, give him space, but not silence. By noon, I was at Mike's office in the financial district, a glass tower where ambition reeked of espresso and entitlement. He greeted me with a bro hug, oblivious. Dude, Jamie's sensitive. LA air must be too thin. I fixed him with a stare. It's not sensitivity, it's erasure. Your joke dismissed years of hurt. He blinked, defensive. Come on, Alex. We're friends. I support you guys. Hell, I came to your coming out party. That was damage control, I snapped. You laughed along when I denied him. Own it. The words hung, his face flushing. For a moment, I thought he'd double down, but he deflated. Shit. I was clueless. Apologized to him. I nodded, the air between us thawing slightly. Start there. Relief carried me to Jamie's hotel, but the desk clerk's words chilled it. Checked out this morning. Left a note. It was a single page, typed. Needed air. Scripts on your email. Don't chase. My stomach dropped. Chase. This wasn't a rom-com. It was my life unraveling again. Panic mode engaged. I scoured his socials. Nothing. Called Elena. He's gone radio silent. LA. She sighed. Nah. Crashing with a buddy upstate. Give him 48. He's processing. Upstate. Vague as a red herring. Sarah rallied. Road trip. We'll find him. But Lila vetoed, citing work. So it was just us, piling into her beat-up Subaru by dusk, heading north on I-87, autumn foliage blurring into fire. The drive was therapy on wheels, Sarah blasting Halsey, me spilling fears of repeating history. What if trust is a one-way street? I broke his. Now he's breaking mine. She glanced over, wind whipping her hair. Then you build a detour. Love's not linear, babe. We stopped at diners, querying locals on a filmmaker type. Dark hair, blue eyes. Zilch until a gas station in Beacon. Sounds like the guy at Beacon last week. Artsy crowd. The museum was a sprawl of industrial chic. Hudson views framing minimalist sculptures. We wandered galleries, Sarah critiquing installations, until voices drifted from a sunlit atrium. Jamie's laugh, tentative but real. He was with Theo, an old film school pal, non-binary and effortlessly cool in overalls and docs. They hugged us awkwardly, explanations tumbling. Needed headspace, Jamie said, eyes guarded. Mike's words echoed too much. We talked on the museum's lawn, leaves carpeting the ground like forgotten reels. Theo mediated, their comma buffer. Prejudice isn't always malice, they said, but it wounds all the same. Jamie nodded, finally meeting my gaze. I bailed because it hurt, feeling like a punchline again. But running's my pattern too. Vulnerability cracked his armor, and I reached for his hand. Then let's rewrite it together. The afternoon stretched, Theo sketching storyboards while Sarah snapped pics. By evening, over farm to table at a nearby bistro, beets and burrata that tasted like absolution, we plotted the script's pivot, infusing Mike's arc with redemption, not villainy. Laughter returned, tentative, but real. Driving back, Jamie beside me in the back seat, his head on my shoulder, Sarah caught my eye in the rear view. Progress, she mouthed. But surprises lurked. My phone lit up mid-highway. Mom, after months of frost. Heard you're working with that boy again. Be careful, Alex. We love you, but... The call dropped in a dead zone, leaving static. Back in the city, Jamie crashed at mine. Couch again, boundaries intact. Over midnight tea, he asked about my folks. Still radio silence. I shrugged. Thawing maybe. But your trust, that's the plot I care about. Weeks blurred into a rhythm. Script locks, Elena's notes. Coffee runs laced with flirtation that danced on friendship's edge. Mike texted an apology, earnest, and Jamie responded with cautious grace. But tension coiled when funding talks heated. Backers balking at the gay focus, demanding broader appeal. Elena fought, but Jamie's fire dimmed. What if they're right? What if we're too niche? I pulled him to the high line that night, railside benches overlooking the Hudson's ink-black flow. Niche is power. Our story's universal, betrayal, forgiveness. Don't let suits edit our souls. He leaned into me, breath warm on my neck. You make me believe that. The almost kiss hung, unspoken, as stars pricked the skyline. The investor meeting was a viper's nest in a midtown conference room, all glass walls and egos sharpened to points. Elena led, her pitch a masterclass in controlled fury. This isn't tokenism, it's truth. Queer stories sell when they're authentic. Look at Moonlight, Call Me By Your Name. The suits, three white guys in identical Brooks Brothers, nodded politely, but their eyes glazed. Lead investor, Harlan, a silver fox with a drawl, leaned forward. Love the drama, but tone down the intimacy. Make it about friendship gone wrong. Broader net. Jamie's hand clenched under the table, knuckles white. I jumped in, voice steady despite the rage boiling. Friendship? That's the misunderstanding we're unpacking. Denying love for acceptance. That's the heart. Harlan chuckled, condescending. Son, audiences want relatability. Not every film's a sermon. Elena shut it down. Pass if you can't handle the script as is. We walked out, air thick with unspoken defeat. On the street, Jamie exploded. Relatability? Fuck that. They want us palatable, like soy milk instead of the real deal. We stormed to a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen, shots of tequila burning away the sting. Elena joined, her cigarillo a talisman. Harlan's old school. We'll shop elsewhere. But doubt crept in, Jamie's eyes distant. What if nowhere fits? That vulnerability cracked something in me. Back at my place, buzzed and raw, he paced the kitchen. You get it, Alex. The fear of being too much, too queer for the room. I pulled him to the couch, our knees knocking. I do. And I won't let you shrink. Our faces inches apart, breaths mingling. The pull was magnetic. But I paused, ghosts whispering. We can't rush this. He nodded, forehead to mine. Slow burn. Like a good script. Sarah's takeout intervention came next morning, pancakes and brutal honesty. Investors are dinosaurs. Pitched to festivals, Sundance loves underdogs. Lila tagged along, her quiet inside gold. Art's rebellion. Lean in. Inspired, we revised, amplifying the prejudice subplot, weaving in my Ohio roots for contrast, Jamie's LA gloss as foil. Theo flew in for a table read, their non-binary lens adding layers, a new character, a trans producer navigating biases. Rehearsals in my living room turned theatrical, Jamie directing with flair, me channeling the lead's turmoil. Laughter mixed with tears, especially in the betrayal scene. My lines too close to bone. One night, post-read, Theo pulled Jamie aside. Whispers, then Jamie's face storming. He bolted to the fire escape, and I followed, city lights a mosaic below. Theo knows, about us, back then. Said I never grieved properly. His voice broke. I forgave you, but I haven't forgiven myself for loving so hard it broke me. Tears stung, I cupped his face. Then grieve with me. We're in this frame now. The kiss was inevitable. Soft, tentative, tasting of salt and second chances. No fire, just embers reigniting. We pulled back, breathless. Worth the wait, he murmured. Every rewrite. But high on connection, we missed the storm brewing. Mike called, voice tight. Mom heard about the script. She's concerned. Thinks it's promoting lifestyles. My blood iced. Mom, via grapevine from Mike's family ties. The old prejudice, resurfacing like kudzu. I confronted her over phone, kitchen clock ticking judgment. It's my life, Ma. Our story. She sobbed. We just want you safe. Happy. This is happy, I said, hanging up as Jamie watched, concern etching lines. The call to my agent was worse. Heard you're entangled. Careful, reputation. Entangled, like we were a scandal. Rage fueled a late-night rewrite. The protagonist's family arc, mirroring mine, ending not in rupture, but reckoning. Jamie read it dawn-lit, eyes shining. This is gold, but it'll cost you. I shrugged. Worth every line. Funding flipped via a queer venture fund, Elena's network magic. Sundance submission loomed, buzz building. But climax brewed in personal realms. Jamie's ex, Ryan, surfaced via email. Heard you're collaborating. Careful, he ghosts when it gets real. Poison pen, stirring doubts. I showed Jamie. He paled. Old wound. Ignore. But seeds planted. Central Park Run cleared heads, leaves crunching underfoot. Ryan's bitter, we ended messy. Jamie confessed the full, a coming out gone wrong. Ryan's denial mirroring my own sins. Irony bit deep. Cycles, I said. Break it with me. He squeezed my hand, resolve hardening. Sundance acceptance hit like lightning. Email pinging during a script polish sesh, confetti emojis exploding in our group chat. Elena hooped over video, Theo danced in frame, Sarah popped champagne at my place. Jamie pulled me into a hug that lingered, his whisper hot against my ear. We did it. The high was euphoric, but reality nipped heels. Press junkets meant dredging pasts, and mine was a minefield. Prep week was frenzy. Media training with Elena, who drilled us on sound bites. Owned the queer heart, but hooked the straights with universal pain. Jamie shone, charisma dialed up. I fumbled, old insecurities flaring. Nights, we'd decompress at dive bars, his foot hooked, round my ankle under tables, subtle anchors. One evening, post-mock interview, tension snapped. In his Airbnb, now ours, sublet extended. We tumbled into bed, kisses deepening but hands respectful, exploring edges without crossing. Building trust, he gasped, and I nodded, heart full. But surprises ambushed. At a pre-fest mixer in the village, Ryan appeared, tall, blonde, LA polished, nursing a gin. Jamie, he drawled, eyes flicking to me. New muse. Venom sweet. Jamie stiffened. Alex's collaborator. And more. Ryan's laugh cut. History repeats. He breaks hearts, you know. The barb landed, group murmurs rising. I froze, betrayal's echo deafening. Jamie shut it down. That's ancient. Move on. But Ryan's parting shot, ask him about Ohio, left bruises. Back home, confrontation brewed over cold pizza. What did he mean? Jamie asked, voice even but eyes stormy. I spilled. The denial, parents' visit, my cowardice in technicolor. He listened, silent. Then, you told me bits, but... Fuck, Alex. That raw. Tears welled, his arms enveloped. I get it now. The weight you carried. Forgiveness flowed, but scars ached. Sarah's barbecue redux. Neutral ground. Mike on best behavior, tested waters. He apologized to Jamie direct. I was an ass. Script sounds dope. Let me invest small. Jamie clapped his back, genuine. Lila shared sketches for posters. Theo facilitated a circle share on biases. Laughter healed, but Mom's letter arrived next day. Handwritten, trembling script. Proud, but scared. Can we talk? Progress, fragile. Fest loomed. We flew to Park City, snow blanketing peaks like fresh starts. Hotel suite buzzed, script finals, pitch decks. Opening night, fractured frames screened to packed house, applause thundering. Q&A was minefield. Moderator probed personal inspirations. Jamie deft, love's messiest when denied. My turn. Betrayal's not plot, it's scar tissue. Crowd leaned in. Harlan, an audience, nodded grudging. After party swirled. Celebs, deals whispered. Ryan lurked, but Jamie shielded, hand in mind public. High on validation, we slipped to hot tubs, steam rising like confessions. This, you, us, is real, he said, fingers tracing my palm. Dawn found us tangled, clothes on, souls bare. But climax crested next day. Anonymous leak online. Twisted script synopsis claiming salacious gay drama. Backlash erupted. Trolls decrying agenda. Harlan pulling support. Panic hit. Elena war-roomed calls. Jamie spiraled. They win if we fold. I rallied. Fight with truth. Press conference. We owned it. Vulnerabilities aired. This is our story, flawed, fierce. Join or step aside. Wave turned. Allies amplified. Box office projections soared. Mom called mid-chaos. Watch trailer. Brave, son. Home for dinner. Tears choked me. Ryan emailed apology. Jealousy confessed. Closure. Homecoming blurred triumph and trial. LA premiere loomed. But first, family dinner in Dayton, Jamie insisted. Face it together. Flight east, hearts pounding. Mom's hug at door was tentative, Dad's nod gruff. Table laden, meatloaf, green beans, awkward as a cold read. Film's beautiful, Mom said, passing potatoes. Hurts, seeing your pain. Dad cleared throat. We messed up. Support now. Jamie's hand under table steadied. Tears fell into gravy. Back in NYC, premiere prep amped. Red carpet nerves, but Jamie's tux-clad grin grounded. Flashbulbs popped. We posed, arms linked. Screening, theater electric, gasps at twists, cheers at arcs. Post, deals flowed, critics raved. A queer before midnight, raw and redemptive. But ultimate surprise, Jamie's knee, post-after party, overlooking Mulholland. Marry this life with me. Not ring. Yet, but commit. Shock joy. Yes, I breathed. Kiss sealed, city sprawl witness. Years on, fractured frames, Oscar nominated. We direct together, home a Brooklyn brownstone with Sarah's art on walls, Mike's investments wise. Trust rebuilt, not unbroken, stronger for cracks. Love script, endless drafts, but ours.